So we've just been doing a bit of a breakdown analysis of the Portaloo. I'm down here at Underground Studios, Steve Maddox, and the breakdown, of course, is that when they targeted the group of guys, I think down one of the side streets where all the Portaloos are, and no one could actually work out what the tactical advantage was. They weren't trying to grab people, they weren't trying to move blocks. And then, as it sort of transpired, that the guy that I interviewed, who's actually very basic, his attitude of like, great cops, love your work, it's a couple of bad eggs and a whole bunch of you, but we're not taking that. We understand how what's rolling on, and we're taking it actually as it is. And so that guy, who's incredibly tolerant, basically they gouged him because what he was doing was he was actually holding up the Portaloos because the police were actually the actual objective emerged was that the police were trying to actually tip the Portaloos actually over. If they can create a mess down there or sanitation issues, then it transfers becomes a social welfare issue, and then they can turn around and target the kids, and they can bring take the kids out, which of course then means that it's not about families, which then makes it even much more easier to dehumanise and demonise the protesters. So this is entire hearts and minds the whole way through what we've been witnessing. So that's what that's been all about. Of course, the other aspect of this today, we've just been watching the situation where the police, the negotiations. They haven't stopped. Everything's carrying on at the moment, but there seems to be, kind of having to struggle to get the access for those Portaloos to be actually switched over. There's a lot of people down there at the moment. Cops would dearly love to see them again cut off, because in no Portaloos, more people can come in. It just becomes horrible. And it's not something that's attractive. So again, it's in their interest to actually, take that area actually out and make it vile, because then it looks the protesters bad, and it looks like they're then taking a stick. So again, it's a little bit like the situation of when do you bring the cameras in the Ukraine. Like, you could turn around, and I keep coming back to this guy. You can talk about it right now and go, oh my god, it's terrible, and it is terrible. Just watch a Russian tank drive over a civilian's car for no other fucking purpose, and there was definitely people in there just because it was there. It was psychotic. It was just murderous. It was like it'd be sort of television that's going to go on and on and on for the rest of your generation. But also at the same time, as you go back to 2014, when you had the coup in the Ukraine, which was basically supported by the US. It was the dominant factions were very much far right. They use far right paramilitia groups as part of their military package. That includes people like the Azov, which are neo-Nazis. They conduct pogroms against Jewish, literally carry out genocide. I mean, that's since 2014, and the original neutrality treatment, which was 2014, to make sure that no heavy weapons were brought into that grey zone. Well, that's been disrupted. Then, of course, you could go all the way back to World War II and say, well, actually, the Russians would, this is an area which the local people don't want to be part of the Ukraine because they're ethically Russian. Of course, they were brought in from the Soviet Union I think it was under the Stalin period of the 1930s. So, again, if you choose to back, the context is everything what we're going on here. But to try and accept that this is simply black and white and just like being encouraged to take a side, that's wrong. It's like at the end of the day, what happening in the Ukraine is a result of superpower politics of psychopaths and sociopaths on both sides who have been antagonising and making this the norm for as long as I can remember. Anyway, have a great day, and that's what we've been up to. Doing the breakdown of the Battle of Portaloo, because it's an absolute stink, and thank God we live in a country where this is annoying and passionate people get so far has managed to maintain a level of people trying genuinely to negotiate and actually do protest in a non-violent way. May it continue so.